Hey, so what we're doing today is going through the daily directions for April 20th. I'm also going to have the directions or kind of the instructions on how to do the assignment because initially it can be a little bit tricky. So what we have here is we have the relative humidity dew point charts that you're going to need to have opened up. So if you click this and open this up, and this is the chart that we have right here. If you have the ability to print this off, it would probably be very beneficial to print it off. If you can't, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to do it as if you can't, so that way you can kind of see going back and forth. And so if I go back into the weather day by day, you're going to click on your class period for the worksheet. All right, so what the worksheet looks like is looks like this. It's the relative humidity and dew point to the top. Don't worry about typing your name in or your class period. Those will come in automatically when you submit it through Google Classroom. All right, so here it says, using your handy dandy earth science reference tables. Those reference tables are the relative humidity and dew point charts that you find on this page right here. Actually, with this, there's a couple of key things I want you to pay attention to. If you notice, there's two charts here. We have the dew point chart at the top and the relative humidity down here at the bottom. So you're going to be using both of these to be able to fill in the chart because you're identifying kind of what the humidity is based on different temperatures. And for this, we're going to be using Celsius because that is kind of the metric unit that we use in science. Okay. So when you're going through, you can see here, and you can fill this in because it's in Google Docs. So what you're going to have to identify is you have your dry bulb and wet bulb, and we did talk about those a little bit on Friday, as well as looking at the sling psychrometer video. Right, so the teacher there referenced, and I did go through a little bit when we were looking at the just your humidity slides and humidity lecture. If you didn't want to watch the psychrometer video, be sure to go back and watch that. It'll be very helpful in understanding the dry bulb and wet bulb a little bit better. Okay. So the first thing you're going to identify is what we call the wet bulb depression. So the wet bulb depression is fairly simple to figure out. All right, all I do is you take the dry bulb, which is kind of the temperature or the kind of the ambient temperature or the temperature in the room, and the wet bulb. Remember, the wet bulb is where it's in the sling spectrometer where it's kind of spinning it around. And what it does is it causes evaporation that pulls heat away. So like in this case, if we take the dry bulb of 5 degrees or 12 degrees Celsius minus the wet bulb of 7 degrees Celsius, we have a dry bulb of 5. Right? So it's simply taking dry bulb minus wet bulb. So we're looking at, say, 22 degrees Celsius, it would be 22 minus 20. In this case, it would be 2. Okay. So looking down like 5 and 6, it works a little bit differently. We have like the wet bulb depression in there, and you have to identify what the temperature of the wet bulb is for 5. So you just simply work backwards. So it'd be 22 minus 1 would give you the wet bulb depression. And then same thing here, when you have to add this in to be able to get the dry bulb. Okay. So once we have this, you're going to go and use the chart to begin identifying, okay, what is the, first of all, relative humidity? So when looking at the charts here, on the y-axis, or on the left side, what we have is we have the dry bulb temperature. Right? It's the same for both the relative humidity chart as well as the dew point chart. Okay? So looking at this, we can see that our dry bulb is at 12 degrees Celsius. This does start as a negative, so make sure you come down to the positive. So you can see right here we have our 12 degrees Celsius, which is the positive. Okay? And then at the top here, here's the key thing. This is the difference between the wet bulb and dry bulb. It's not the wet bulb or the wet bulb temperature, it's the difference. So we're going to be using the number that we put right here in the wet bulb depression. In this case, it is 5. So we're looking at a dry bulb of 12, right, and a wet bulb, or a difference of 5. So we're going to come over, and we can see here, right, we can come up, so 5 down to 12. So our relative humidity is 48%. And so come over here, so relative humidity, just simply type in 48%. There you go. All right, and don't worry about putting in like the degrees Celsius and the percentage because different Chromebooks or different technology does things differently. I know the degree sign is going to be difficult to put in. Okay, so that would be 48. One of the key things that we'll see mistakes is, you notice at 0, it's all 100%. So, a lot of times you think, okay, I'm moving over 5, so I'm at 12, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, if you want 57, is only a 4-degree difference. So you're going 12, it's actually 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you're looking at the difference, you have to include the 0. So coming up now to the dew point, again we have a 12 degrees Celsius, and again we have these 0 columns, so it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see here this is 1. All right, so what this means is at 1 degree Celsius, right, that is where the basically condensation will begin and water will start forming on droplets on different objects. So that's the actual temperature at which the dew will form. Whereas we're at 48% humidity, so the air is about half moisture. Okay, and so this is kind of a guide on how to do this. We'll go through one more together. I'll do number 2 together quick as kind of an example. So you can see here we got 22 degrees Celsius for a dry bulb. Our wet bulb is 20 degrees Celsius. So that means our depression, or the difference, is 22 minus 20, which is 2. Okay? So we have a difference of 2. So we go back and look at the relative humidity. So we come down to 22 degrees Celsius. We have 0, 1, 2. So that means our relative humidity is 83%. And so you type in here 83. So which means that there it is fairly high in moisture. It'd be kind of a nice, hot, muggy day. Right? So now looking at the dew point, again, we're at 22 with a difference of 2. So we have our 22 degrees Celsius, so right here. Right? And then we go over 0, 1, 2. So at 19 degrees Celsius is when the dew will begin forming, or we see condensation happening. And so that's kind of how to do the relative humidity and dew point worksheet. So you go through, we have 20 of them or 18 more for you to do, right? And there's a couple more challenging ones down the bottom if you need help with those. Just email me or check in during a Zoom session. All right, thank you and good luck.